You know, this was not on my bingo card for the spring or summer of 2024. Honestly, I was looking forward to this game a lot, but Life by You is no longer. It's actually not happening anymore. I don't know what happened behind the scenes. I mean, they delayed early access a couple of times. It's not like the game never existed. The game existed. We were getting ready to go into early access, and then they announced an indefinite delay, and then we just received radio silence from the developers. Like, nobody was saying anything. So I don't really know what was happening behind the scenes, but whatever it was led to the official cancellation of Life by You. And of course, Paradox Interactive has released a statement on their social media accounts. Life by You has regrettably been canceled. Find a full statement here. Our apologies and gratitude to our loyal community. So I haven't read this yet. We're gonna go through and read this statement together, and it really does disappoint me. You know, like, this was some really good competition for EA, and now it's gone, unfortunately. So Paradox staff has written on their forums, "Hello everyone, here is a message from our deputy CEO, Matthias. Hi all, sadly we've decided to cancel the release of our long-awaited life sim Life by You. This was an incredibly difficult call to make and is a clear failure on Paradox's part to meet both our own and the community's expectations. We realize this raises some large questions. Here we hope to shed at least some light on why we opted to cancel rather than delay as we communicated earlier." Oh, Jesus. Yeah, you know, from the start, they definitely over-promised with this one. You know, you could tell from the start, they didn't really have everything to show, but had everything to promise. And that was definitely a concern for a lot of potential future buyers. And then of course, with the delays and a lot of the community being pretty critical of, you know, the graphics and the art style, it definitely wasn't meeting expectations pretty early on. They continue, "Life by You has been in the works for a long time, and we've been very excited about the promise and the potential of this game. Our hope was always that it would be able to leave a mark in this exciting and new genre for us. That's why we've opted to delay it twice, to give the studio and the game a fair shot at realizing the potential we saw. For each delay we made, we've seen incremental improvements, which in hindsight may well have led us to focus on details rather than the whole picture." That's exactly what I was thinking. I was like, after the third delay and the radio silence, one of my first thoughts was, I can bet you that Paradox is making them go back to the drawing board with this game and completely rebuild it from the ground up. And honestly, I can bet you that was probably what they were going to do, but they probably just lost way too much in this long wait for this game since its official reveal a while back now. They continue, "A few weeks back, we decided to hold off on an early access release in order to reevaluate Life by You, as we still felt that the game was lacking in some key areas, though a time extension was an option. Once we took that pause to get a wider view of the game, it became clear to us that the road leading to a release that we felt confident about was far too long and uncertain. This is not to say the game has not shown any promising qualities. Life by You had a number of strengths and the hard work of a dedicated team that went into realizing them. However, when we come to a point where we believe that more time will not get us close enough to a version we would be satisfied with, then we believe it is better to stop. This is obviously tough and disappointing for everyone who poured their time and enthusiasm into this project, especially when our decision comes so late in the process." That's my first thought too, is like, all of those developers that spent so long working on this game, you know, I have a lot of questions. I'm assuming everyone that pre-ordered has definitely received their refunds by now, and if not, I definitely think you guys should reach out, but I'm pretty sure all of that stuff has been sent out. Like, what happens to the studio? This has definitely cost them a lot of money, because they probably poured a lot of money into making this game only for it to earn virtually no money at all. They literally just threw money away on this when you look at it from that point. And also, you know, early access was right around the corner. There were NDAs that were signed. There were things that were promised from the developers. What happens to that? You know, early access content that was ready to go up, sponsorships, creators that most likely already had filmed their content. What's going on in that department? You know, there's definitely a lot of questions that I have here with how things were left, unfortunately. They conclude, at the end of the day, our job is to release games that are fun, interesting, and challenging for our players, and our every decision should be taken with that purpose in mind. When we get that right, we earn our pay. So how do we ensure we don't find ourselves here again? Honestly, there are no real guarantees. Games are difficult to get right, and we'll definitely make mistakes, which, as these things go, always become painfully apparent in hindsight, but still shouldn't reach this kind of magnitude regardless. We have to take a long, hard look at what led us here and see what changes we have to make to become better. In the end, our mission remains the same, and we'll continue to take whatever steps we need to do just that. I feel so bad. Everyone working on this game is probably going to be out of a job now. That's really unfortunate. Like, that's really sad. Honestly, it's hard to say how successful this game would have been if it was officially released. Personally, I don't think it would have made too much noise. Just seeing the general interest on social media slowly declining over time. I know a lot of simmers, people that play The Sims 4, they weren't happy with the art style, they weren't happy with the graphics and the way that things looked. Yes, things could have been polished, but it just would have taken them too long. And honestly, I don't think this would have really made too much noise, at least in the long term. I feel like maybe for the first month or two, it could have had some popularity, but as far as this game having legs, it's really hard to say in my honest opinion. The general interest just wasn't really there the way that it is for Paralives, and there's even tons of polls on social media that really show you that most of the interest for future life sim is in Paralives more than any other that have been announced so far. But what does this mean for Paradox? Like, this definitely makes them look really bad. And also, you know, after the failure of City Skylines 2 and the mess that was when it launched, it was like unfinished, and now this being canceled, this is just not good. So let me know what you guys think about all of this down below. Are you disappointed? Do you not care? Were you not really expecting much from this anyway? That's all that I have to share with you guys, though. This is really all that they've said, and honestly, I don't think we're gonna hear anything about this game ever again. It's definitely very disappointing because, you know, the journey that we've been on with Life by You and covering their updates, it's been really fun watching them grow and watching them progress, but unfortunately, it's not gonna happen. So I think this is the last video for Life by You, so farewell. We had a good run for as long as it lasted. That's it for me. Thank you guys for clicking and watching. Take care and happy life simming. Bye, guys.